Welcome back, everybody, to the Midnight Review. I'm your host, Corey. Today we're talking about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It's a movie. It's a movie that I saw in theaters. I'm not mad about it. This isn't going to be like The Crow where I'm like, oh, there's so many different ways this could have gone. Like, this movie's pretty good. I'm not gonna go into like a full like in-depth breakdown of the movie, going through like scene by scene, things like that. If you want something like that, I don't know. Somebody will do it. I'm not the person who's gonna do it. We're gonna talk about the movie. There's gonna be spoilers in it throughout there. So here's your warning up top. I'm just gonna kind of jump into it. Movie starts off with like an opening scroll, which is just something that I just wanted to mention because it's like an old thing that nobody really does anymore. So it's cool to see it back in this, which is like it's just like panning through, which I believe is the model, which is something from the first movie and this movie. But you haven't seen the first movie, I'd go back and definitely watch it. I'd say it's not probably. It is better than this one, but not in a way that I'm trying to think of a movie that has a bad sequel, which is crazy because so many movies have bad sequels, and it's absolutely fucking blanking from my brain now. I don't know. It's not a bad sequel. It just feels more of like a slight reboot, but also I don't know, because the reboot doesn't even sound right either. Whatever. I digress. They feel completely different, but the same, which is just a strange way to say it. But anyways, so yeah, it starts out with the opening scroll, which is like a cool thing. It's solid. The plot of the movie is very, very simple once it's written down. Jenna Ortega's character meets a boy who turned out to have murdered his entire family and is a ghost. Then he tries to get her to marry him so that he can come back to life while she ends up dead, because that's the way the contract works. And so like that happens at about an hour in, I think. But that I feel like is the main plot of the movie, if I'm being honest. Which I know sounds crazy because I'm like, that happens an hour in. But I feel like that's more of like where the movie kind of meets at. I mean, Beetlejuice is also being chased by his ex-wife, who is a soul sucker, which is exactly what I just said, and that is what it is called in the movie, and they do make jokes about it. I think they only make one joke about it, but damn, she's a soul sucker. I'll let that sink in. For all you adults out there, she's a soul sucker. But like other than that, like I don't know. There's not really a conclusion to that. I mean, she gets killed like towards the end of the movie, but it's not really like she never feels like a threat to anything. She's just kind of in the background following around Beetlejuice as Winona Ryder's character, because she goes and gets Beetlejuice to help out with Jenna Ortega being taken by that boy. It's that simple. Willem Dafoe's also in the movie. He plays an actor who's playing a cop who is dead. So he's dead, but in the afterlife, because he was an actor who played a cop in the real world, he then became a cop in the afterlife, who is aware that he was an actor. It's layers upon layers. Layers upon layers. But anyways, yeah. Movie, I think it's good. I don't think it's bad. There are a couple things, yeah, like I wanted to talk about the Soul Sucker, which just, I mean, damn. What a name for something. It feels honestly like a waste for her character. Because I don't know, the trailers are a little misleading. Because I thought this movie was going to be about her getting towards Beetlejuice. I didn't really know how the family was going to play into it. I just assumed maybe he was going to go to them for help or some weird shit like that. But he's never really under threat. Like there's parts where like he locks himself in like his office and he's like, he has like a bunch of minions that work for him. He's like, if she comes in here, kill her. Just like weird shit like that. But it's not like she never gets to do any of that shit. By the time she gets to his office, he's gone and so are all of his minions. They've all fucked off to the fucking to where people are actually alive, to the living world and not the dead world. They've all fucked off to the living world. So like I don't know. It just feels like a waste on her character's parts and just in general. Because yeah, like I said, the movie ends up being about Jenna Ortega being taken by this dude, by this kid who killed his parents and then died himself because he wants to come back to life. But she also gets sent to hell at the end. I don't know. it's strange because like I can't sit here and be like, oh, I hate the movie. It's just a little, I don't know. I think upon a second rewatch, I probably wouldn't like it as much. But watching it for the first time, I was like, this isn't bad. Like a lot of the jokes landed at the beginning of the movie, though. I will say for like that first 30-minute to like 45-minute chunk at the beginning of the movie, it was punchline after punchline and not in the best way. Like I felt like there were points where people were making jokes and then there was a pause for people to laugh. But I was not laughing. Like I was just sitting there like, okay. Like some jokes were good. Like this, like I said, that lady's name is Soul Sucker. So as soon as like Beetlejuice learns that she's a soul sucker, he makes like a comment about it. And she's like, oh boy, was she? Like some shit like that, because that's his ex-wife. So I mean, there's that little joke. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of punchliney things that are being said throughout the movie. There's also like, I don't know. One of the guys from the first one, I'm gonna look something up while we're doing this. There's the guy from the first one who's in this movie who just gets killed off screen in like a little animated flashback, which isn't like a bad thing. Like the animated flashback is cool and all. But I wonder if that dude isn't dead. Because he you don't see his face like ever walking around, but you see like his corpse where he got killed by a shark. Just to get that out there. He got killed by a shark and you see his corpse fucking walking around and some shit. So it's weird. It's something weird like that. Where's this dude at? I'm gonna find him because I wonder if he's dead. Oh. Okay. You know what? It looks like he was a sex offender. So we're just gonna... It's probably a good thing that if he is alive that he's not in this movie. Which I think he is alive. It's a good thing he's not in this movie because he's a sex offender. Never mind. And you know what? He does look like a sex offender. Holy shit, I've seen that mugshot before. Holy shit, I never even connected the dots. Okay. Well. Thomas, you can leave that in the video if you want. Thomas is editing this one. You can leave that in there. But that guy's a sex offender. So you know what? It's a good thing it's not in the movie. And his character's dead, and like he has a nice moment with his wife, and that's awesome. I'm glad that guy isn't in the movie because he's a sex offender. That's great. I've lost my complete train of thought. That fucked me up. I was not expecting to stumble upon that. Not that this was going to be like an AI situation where they used AI on his voice and shit, and they were just like, and they didn't want to use CGI to bring him back, so they were just going to be like, oh, he's practical effects of him being back and shit. Because this movie kind of, it didn't brand itself as this per se, but they did make a note of like telling people that this movie isn't like a CGI like mess. Like essentially like a lot of the effects in this movie are very practical or done with like stop motion animation shit, which the first one did also, and it was done really well. And I think that carries over into this one too. And I think there are some parts that are CGI. I'm like, you guys could have probably just actually done this, but like a lot of it seemed very practical. I don't think it takes enough. I don't think it goes as far as the first one in terms of like the stop motion stuff or like the things that are moving around and like the things are like, there's one point where Beetlejuice turns into a giant snake in the first one, and there's just nothing like that happens in here, which I'm not saying I need to see him necessarily do that, but he's like a demon. He's like I don't know, he's like a Deadpool thing. Like he's like the Mask or some shit. Like there's also like he has fourth wall breaks, which I don't remember him doing a lot in the first one, but he does it a couple times in this one where he like looks at the like actually looks at the camera, like will throw up a wink, some weird shit like that. So just you have that going on for you, which is quite odd. And yeah, like I said, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a lot of risks were taken in this. The script definitely feels like it was made pretty short. And I feel like if I'm not mistaken, I feel like they've been thinking about doing Beetlejuice 2 for a while now. But I remember at a certain point, Jenna Ortega popped into superstardom, especially with her role on in Netflix's show Wednesday, where she plays Wednesday Addams, and people compared her a lot to Winona Ryder during that show and her character in the first Beetlejuice movie. And then I think a few weeks after that, they were like, Beetlejuice 2 is happening, and we got Jenna Ortega to be in it. So I feel like this was kind of rushed together and built around her, which isn't bad. Because I like the family dynamics. I like the way they communicate with each other. Like there's a lot of stuff here to like, but I can also feel like this one will not be remembered as much as the first one. Like at all. Like I don't think this is a bad movie. I think we'll probably get a third one down the line, if I'm being completely honest. box office already it did nearly 270 million. So like I think it'll do well. I think it's enough for a sequel, but like I don't know. It does, yeah. It does feel like it was built a little early. This one isn't bad. Like I don't want to sit here and tell you guys that this is a bad movie because I don't think it is. I just wouldn't probably want to see this in theaters, honestly. I'd wait, see it on streaming whenever it comes out, and then go from there. The first one is better, but not like leagues better. It just, I don't know. It feels so different. And I know me saying I don't know is gonna piss Thomas off because I just said it like 6 times in a row. Damn. That is tough. That just fucked me up because I just realized I did it. And that's gonna piss him off. Danny DeVito's in this movie, which is very funny. He plays the blue guy who drinks bleach, I think, and then he gets electrocuted, which is cool. There is one relationship in this movie that is just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Winona Ryder's character gets engaged to this guy Rory, who is who's her manager for a show that she does. And he's a fucking, there's like parts at the beginning of the movie where he's making her throw away pills and shit. And it's like, I don't want you to take these because this will make you, what does he say? He's so fucking weird about it. He's like, this will make you different or some shit. He's like, whenever you're hurting, my heart's hurting. Like some weird shit like that, bro. Like some weird stuff like that. And like throughout the movie, she keeps telling people and reassuring people that she's like, oh, I love this man. Or like, if I don't marry this man now, I'm just never going to marry him. Weird shit like that. And then she keeps doing this all the way up until the end of the movie where Beetlejuice like gives him like a truth serum thing. And he has to tell her that like everything about him is a lie and that he only wants to marry her for his money. In order for her to be like, for her to then realize and be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't marry this dude. And I just want to put this out here that that's bad writing. Personally, that's bad writing. This movie loses like whatever the rating was for it drops down by at least 1 or 2. Because that's a terrible thing. He's very clearly a bad person the entire movie. And it takes all the way up until that point for her to be like, yeah, maybe I should just listen to my family and this fucking trickster demon dude, Beetlejuice, about how bad this guy is. Like, he's been bad the entire movie. I just wanted to point that out because that's the silliest thing ever. Like you made her character be like, you dumbed down her character a bit, which is kind of odd because in the first one, she's not the dumb one. Like she's mostly right about everything in the first one. So I just wanted to point that out there because I don't like that. I don't like that about the movie. I don't appreciate that it does that. Also, I mentioned up top, Willem Dafoe plays a cop who's an actor who played a cop who then died, who then became a cop in the afterlife. And he's great. He's awesome. There's a part in the movie where like he's talking about his life as an actor. And he's like, yeah, I did all my own stunts. Which is very funny because Willem Dafoe, if you don't know, he does his own stunts. Like one of his agreements to come back for Spider-Man was that he had to be the one to do his stunts. So he's got that going for him. Actually, that's cool. There's also a little joke about a soul train. They're like, hey, you got to take the soul train to get to the great beyond. And they go down there to the fucking train. It's a bunch of black people fucking doing like disco dancing to like a Soul Train song or some shit. And there's a black guy who like leans his head off the train. He goes, all aboard the Soul Train. And just says it with so much smoothness and soul that it's incredible. Like you didn't have to go for that easy joke, but then you went for it, which is good. Puns in movies aren't like terrible. I'm a good pun guy. Some people don't like puns, but like puns can be solid. They can be solid. They can be good. And like I said, yeah, it's not a CGI mess. Michael Keaton's great. He didn't really get enough to do. I would have liked to see him more in the movie. I would have liked to see a lot of more. Oh yeah, there's also a really sad part where the stepmom, she gets killed by snakes, who she thought were defanged, but they weren't defanged. She gets killed by snakes about like about 3/4 into the movie, she gets killed, and then she ends up in the afterlife, and they don't realize she's dead until the end of the movie, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got scammed. I died of embarrassment. They scammed me, and now I'm dead." It's just sad because like she was at her husband's gravesite. She got killed by the snakes. So it just sucks that like the Lydia character has just lost her dad and her stepmother in like a week of each other. Like it's just, I don't know, it's really sad. She doesn't really like show like emotion towards it. Lydia, especially even when the dad dies, she never like, it doesn't show like a full emotional breakdown. I think it's fine because this movie kind of keeps itself pretty light and more into like the horror side a little bit. There's a part where Beetlejuice says the F word, but it gets bleeped, which I think is kind of strange. I feel like Beetlejuice doesn't need to be PG-13. I feel like this could have very well been rated R, and that wouldn't have been too over the top. I don't think. I think make it over R, so you could rated R, so you can make so you could say more language and things like that. I don't think that ruins the movie or takes anything away from it. I think trying to confine it into this little bottle of PG-13 dampers it a little bit, because the first one isn't like I'm not saying it's rated R, but I also wouldn't be like today I think it would still be PG-13, but I don't think it's like, I don't know, because if you've seen the old one, you're not like you're not a kid, so like a rated R movie for you isn't like a crazy thing. Like people that are seeing this, they're not kids. Like they're not like, I know it's got Jenna Ortega in it, but it's not like you're not getting a fucking 13-year-old who's a fan of Jenna Ortega to go see this movie. That's not your market here. You're getting an adult who fucking liked Beetlejuice, if we're being honest, who liked Beetlejuice. You're getting a couple younger people under 30 who know Jenna Ortega, but that's about it. Like you're not getting any younger than like probably 22-ish. If we're being honest, you're really not getting that much younger than that. But yeah, I mean that's the movie. That's what I gotta say about it. We're gonna go into ratings now. I'm gonna give it a 5. You know what? It's not like a bad movie, but I can't say it was exceptionally great on anything. And I think a 5 feels right. Like it's fine. Like I can watch it. I'll watch it again. I had some laughs on it. I'll be honest. I had some laughs. I had some laughs, and it wasn't laughs of like this is bad. It was laughs of like this is funny. You know what? Fuck it. I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6. And that's where I'm gonna leave it at 6. Cause like, yeah, I had some laughs. It did its job. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I can't sit here and say that it's been better than anything I've watched so far, minus all the bad shit, which would be The Crow and what other bad shit that I watch. Probably fucking that movie about the British guy, Austin Powers. It is better than those movies that I hate, I think. But I don't remember what ratings I gave those. But this one is better. And with that, I'm going to need y'all to drop a subscribe. And by I mean a drop subscribe, I mean click the subscribe button and fucking subscribe. You got episodes on Spotify. We do streaming on Twitch now at the Midnight Place. There's an Instagram, there's an X. None of them get up there, but they exist. There's a TikTok. There's all that shit. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Let me know if you're going to watch this movie. Or if you have seen this movie, what do you think about it? Or your favorite movie from the year 1982. Whatever movie came out that year that you like, you let me know. I won't watch it, but I'll look at it. I'll maybe click the heart button under this account so that you get a heart on it. So you got that little dopamine rush going for you. Other than that, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, even though I said that just a few minutes ago. And I noticed you still haven't done it, though, which is weird because you're listening to me ramble. So go ahead and subscribe. And thank you for your time. Peace.